some parties I won't get invited to because it's all black, or you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
you know, some of my girlfriends are like, oh, well, you wouldn't be comfortable in there, you know, it's a bunch of black men in there, you know what I mean. I like black men.
Right, right.
But they may not like me, but I like
Right.
them. And I don't have a problem with being around somebody if you don't make me feel uncomfortable. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what that's like, but it makes me think about um like the transness aspect. I feel like, I don't always feel like I'm a part of, I don't feel like I'm a part of the gay community anymore, like because I used to hang out with gay men, and I don't fit in there anymore, and
you've
I don't
been boxed,
I
sis.
don't fit in with heterosexual people, but then there's not many trans people to hang out with, and so it often feels, or sometimes it's like, sometimes I have a hard time being with a group of other trans people in public, because then I feel like it just makes it obvious that we're all trans or that I'm trans. I don't know. It's really weird because it shouldn't be that way, but sometimes I feel like it almost makes me more vulnerable, um, than like kind of being by myself or whatever. I don't know. I don't know where I got off talking about this,
No,
but
and I understand that. I completely understand that. You know, when I was transitioning, all of my girlfriends were black sisters, black queens transition. Well, they didn't transition, but you know what I mean. We were all, you know, transing together,
right.
and they didn't want to have a sex change or anything like that, but they enjoyed dressing up, and we enjoyed each other's companies, and we'd go out down in Minneapolis, you know, the gay 90s, and we just kiki down the streets, and we loved each other's company, but we would not do that during the daytime. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And um, so the culture was there,
Yeah.
and for us, you know, as sisters, you know, I've always felt like we can bond together as sisters.
Yeah.
Black trans girls, we bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do. And so that part, I can honestly say I've always had a bond with my black trans sisters. So that's always been a blessing for me, and Spanish girls, but predominantly I'd say my strongest bonds have been with black queens.
I would say I have a lot of strong connections with Black trans women. I think for whatever reason, like I've had many Black trans women like clock me before I knew, like I remember Mama Carol, she like came up to me once and she's like, girl, like a little bit of moans and that'll soften you right up. And I was just like, no, I'm good, but like, I know people saw me before I saw me, and they loved me and they reflected it back to me, and they also didn't like push me, or you know what I mean, like they let me be me,
Yeah,
but
that's
also
how they got me. Oh, girl, you
but I
was
felt
pretty, a
seen.
little, you know, a little something, something, and
Mhm. Yeah, totally. They're like that's the way it is with a lot of things in life, though. It's like it seems like you're the last to know, right?
But I'm glad I did find out because I'm so happy in that respect of my life. I'm happy to be trans. I'm so happy to have met you. I'm so happy that I had the surgery.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um,
Well, I think one thing about I think that I love about being trans, I guess, in some ways, or like even being queer, is just like I get to live authentic because I have to, you know. I think it could be harder to live authentically if I was, say, just like a cis white straight guy. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, what do I have to be authentic about? Or I don't know. That's horrible to say. But I think it would have
Talk
been really.
about Willis.
I know, but it would have been a lot. I don't know. It's interesting because it's not my experience. So I don't really know for sure. And I don't mean to say it to like put anyone down, but I feel like I'm authentic or working on being authentic because I have to. It's like you don't have a choice. And I don't understand how anybody doesn't have a choice to be authentic at some point in time in your life, at least.
You know, I also have a gay cousin. who just, as I was transitioning, he just adored me. His name's
Mm.
John John. And he just adored me. And he was just follow behind me everywhere I went. Little John John was right behind me. I was like, that little, and that's how like, that's gonna be my little, my little cousin. And so John John grew up to be a Black gay man.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that me and John John, out of generations of our family and culture, we're the only two that I think there's one more, but I don't know if he's like in the life. But we're the only two. And let me tell you, John John is a fighter. He has to cuss. He's got a tongue sharper than a razor blade. But you have to. You have to get thick skin because the world ain't ready for you. Or, so they're gonna attack you from all sides.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I felt. You're being attacked from all sides. You gotta fight or flight,
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's almost a survival. It's like a survival, like
for a while it was, Bonnie.
Yeah.
For a while it was survival. And so unfortunately a lot of my sisters didn't survive it because we had to be out in them streets.
Yeah.
I could not go home dressed in a dress and a skirt. And my aunt had told me, you better not ever come to my house dressed up as no damn woman.
Oh, wow.
Just like that. And what did I do? Show right up at her house, dressed up as a woman.
Oh, wow.
It's like, well, you look so nice, you might as well just come on in.
Well, that's cool.
So, and that was an amazing door opener for me.
Yeah.
Because it was, and I still have family that slowly coming around. Now, I've been this way since I was 16. I started transition, and I think I came home right after my surgery. And some families still gonna be like, and then my southern cousins, forget it. Don't even go down to Mississippi. Don't even go to Missouri. Don't even go, St. Louis and all that. I call myself trying to go. I haven't been down to this way with my family for a while, so I'm making my way. I still never told my nephew, by the way. I just don't think that that's a conversation we need to have because he never knew me that way.
Do you need to?
Yeah, and he loves me. He calls me his titi, and I just adore my nephew. But it reminds me, Bonnie, I went home for a funeral. Was it a funeral? For some reason, I had to go down to Mississippi and St. Louis for, I think it was for someone's funeral. I can't remember. But anyway, in my youth, we used to go back and forth to Mississippi from my great grandmother. We grew up, we were raised in the South. We'd go, and how it went was all the kids go to Mississippi for the summer, and then we come back during school time. So that's how it went. And our parents would have all the time, hoorah, whatever. But we were raised by our great grandmother, and in Mississippi, where the cotton was being picked, and that far back. And the soybeans had just started to come, and we had to shuck the peas and harvest. And so we were raised by these people. But I had an Annie Pearl, who I just adored as a kid. I had to be 4. And I went to this funeral and saw Annie Pearl. And she looked at me and said, and I'm looking like the 9s, like I want to do because I'm going back. And she looked at me and was like, oh, this the faggot of the family.